Lazy Burrow here, and I am Bakersfield's bargain toy and collectible hunter. I hit up all the thrift stores, I hit up all the yard sales, I hit up the swap meets here in the Bakersfield, California region, and I try to find some of that nostalgic, vintage characters, superhero, cartoon characters, animated properties, all that stuff that just makes me smile. And I try to find it out there and, you know, bring it out of obscurity and bring it back into the spotlight of the collector. Here we are with the latest toy hunting video. I've been sick the last couple of days, guys. A little, seasonal change here in Bakersfield. We have 100-degree Septembers, and then in one weekend it'll just change like that. It was last weekend, and now it's kind of cold, and I'm fighting off a cold, so I didn't do a lot of hunting the last few days. But I fixed that today. Hit up a couple of thrift stores, and let's see what we got. First of all, it was a little bit of cup day. When you go to the thrift store aisle, I mean, of course, you got to go to the toy aisle, you got to go to the book aisle, but you also have to hit up the glassware aisle, and you have to see if there's any sort of like collectible cups out there. So first of all, we got this. This is a 1974, I think, plastic collector cup. And that's from the Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz movie poster cup there. A little information about it. Like I say, this is from 1974. So it's a cool little collector cup. Plastic cup there. Also, we got the 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games. Bakersfield, California. We're just a hour and a half, 2-hour drive away from Los Angeles, so we come up on a lot of the LA event memorabilia, LA sports memorabilia, that sort of thing. Add that to the antique mall spot. And this one, primarily we're toy hunters. And this is a cool mug. It's kind of got the vintage toy theme for Christmas. Just kind of a generic mug, but I liked it. It had the vintage look to it, so figure I can do something with it in a display. Alright, that's the cups. Let's get into the books. Here. And like 2 weeks ago, I was at a Goodwill and I found a Robotech book from 1988, and it was book 1 of this series. Well, now, going back to that same Goodwill a couple weeks later, they were able to put out the rest of the book. So I have book 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I'll add it with my book 1 of The Sentinels. These are the Robotech novels from 1988. So if you're an old school Robotech fan, we got some reading for you. And I'll have those out at the Downtown Toys and Comics, my consignment spot at the antique mall there. Have those out for sale here pretty soon. Now, I love children's books. I like the golden books and those sort of things. The ones from the 80s mostly. But this one's from the early 90s, and it's called All Aboard Airplanes. Just generic kids book, but I like the cover, so I bought it. Alright, here is a graphic novel, trade paperback, called Cleopatra in Space, and it's a scholastic reading one, so, it's been approved as educational. This is something they probably sold at a book fair, as well as probably on Amazon and in bookstores, but $8.99 cover price. Of course, when you go to Goodwill, you get it for 20 cents, so can't beat that. Cleopatra in Space is something my daughter might be interested in. She's starting to get into reading, 3.5 years old, so she's already thumbing through my comics. Might be something for her. This is definitely not something for her. This is the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. This is an underground comic from 1975. In the underground comic genre, I mean, this was like the punk rock movement. This was a lot of political commentary, a lot of counterculture, a lot of pushing the boundaries of censorship, outright breaking them. A lot of free thought through the art of graphic narration here during this era. So there was like I say, this was kind of a genre in the 70s, and then continued on into the 80s. Robert Crumb is probably the most famous name in this genre. But yeah, it's 1975. You don't find many comic books at Goodwill. At least I don't here. And this is definitely a comic from 1975. If you do see comics at the Goodwill, it might be the same, some of the junk, overproduced stuff from the early 90s. But this is a cool one, man. And this is the second printing of this. This is issue 4, second printing. You can tell it's a second printing because it has this dollar cover price. The first printing said 75 cents. The second printing had dollar cover price, and then it went like $1.50, $2. Every subsequent printing had a higher cover price. But these were black and white, self-published comics. Rip-Off Press was the publishing company. And, this is kind of a niche product, but they catch a pretty penny. Condition-wise, doesn't really matter. As it does with like superhero comics. This is such a niche product, people just kind of want them. Really cool covers, and go to mycomicshop.com and check out the value on some of these things, especially in lower conditions, man. It'll kind of blow your mind a little bit. But yeah, I have a nice little collection of comics from this era, including some other issues of the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. So happy to add that to my collection. That might be on the sales floor one of these days. It's definitely not going to be on the sales floor anytime soon. All right. God, that's the book portion there. We did all right on books. I guess let's do clothes now. Let's check out what clothes we picked up. All right. From the Goodwill, this is the Representing the Street. This is my #DadLife shirt. I have 2 girls. 19 months is the youngest, 3.5 is the oldest, and so Sesame Street is it's a staple property. So this is my Dad Life shirt I'll wear to make them happy, and this is a shirt I will wear to make Daddy happy. This is the Incredible Hulk, an old school style Incredible Hulk there. I don't know if that's a Jack Kirby or a little bit later, but that is an awesome, awesome Hulk shirt. Bright colors. Look like it's never been worn or never been washed, at least. So really, really clean shirt there. Now these ones actually didn't come from the thrift store, but I just came up on them this week. A buddy of mine actually got these for me. This is one of those Under Armour compression shirts. And these are sweet, man. Brand new, never been worn. There's the Man of Steel Superman logo, the black variant. That one's pretty sweet. And of course, you got the DC. You got to get the big boy in Marvel too. There's Captain America. That's from the Winter Soldier. That's like the stealth suit. The same thing. One of those Under Armour compression shirts. So, man. All right. Thank my buddy for that. That was really sweet of him. Nice for him to come through. So I threw those in with the clothes portion. All right, let's get into... Oh, you know what? One more item on the clothes portion. It was packaged a little bit weird. So there's this guy right here. And these are just those Funko Pop t-shirts that they make, based on their highly successful Funko Pop designer toys. Now these are cool. You find these at Target or wherever. I think they're like $12.99 is the price. However, when you find it at Goodwill for $4.99, you go ahead and just pick it out. $12.99, it might not excite me that much, but at $4.99, that is the price that I am apparently willing to pay. So like I say, it's sealed, never been opened. Still has its wrapping around it, so cool. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's get into this thing right here that we've been looking at. This is a Witch's Cauldron fountain. This is a statue from 1996, and it actually runs water through it. And you can put a little food coloring in it, and the water can be green, so that cauldron looks like it's, looks like your witch is conjuring up some nasty, foul stuff there. So, Witch's Fountain, and this is a cool statue. Never been opened. I kind of cracked it open there at the store. It still had its styrofoam packing around it, still had its plastic wrap around it. I kind of cracked it open, made sure nothing was broken on it, and these intricate finger parts or anything like that. But it was good to go, so I'm excited to kind of use that as a Halloween decoration. Looks kind of fun. You know. All right, let's get into some of the other stuff here. There we go. Who's that? That's E.T. E.T., Steven Spielberg's famous movie from the 80s. And this one here is actually from 1990. It's a Universal Studios. Tag here says Universal Studios, Florida. Something you would have bought there while visiting the movie studios. And then it's from 1990. So this wasn't like first run merchandise from the movie. You know, this was produced a little bit later. But 1990, you know, in 2019, 1990 is still considered vintage, I think. So there you go. Cool little E.T. chilling in his bathrobe there. Alright, now this one was kind of cool. This I came across actually in my garage. I was digging for some paperwork, and this had gotten mixed up with something, and I check it out, and this is the LJN video game, Nintendo video game poster. Roger Clemens MVP Baseball, and this was a really awesome baseball game for the original Nintendo, the NES system. And the format for this game was later used in Super Nintendo for that Ken Griffey Jr. game that was so popular. So, but in the original, man, if you've never played this one, this was probably the best baseball game on the NES. You know, it wasn't a first run NES game. It came out a little bit later, but yeah, this is a pretty clean poster I found of Roger Clemens, who will probably be in the Hall of Fame at some point in his career. You know, I think he's linked to the steroid era a little bit, so might take him a little while, but he'll get there. Alright, this is a cool little find. This is just a Spider-Man wastebasket. A little push pedal wastebasket. So, cool little office, bathroom, small space trash can, you know? Nothing wrong with that. Got Spider-Man. Hey, you put a Spider-Man logo on it. That's pretty sure I'm gonna buy it. Okay, and like I say, we unfortunately didn't find a whole lot in action figures. As I was walking in the door of the thrift store, I saw a guy walking out carrying a bag of action figures, so I was like 5 minutes too late. He probably walked out with some good stuff. But the one action figure I did find was this kind of talking, head-spinning thing that they produced from the recent rise of the Ninja Turtle line. And this, you know, this line in general has not been well received. You know, people kind of liked the Nickelodeon toys that ran for a good 5 years, but people were kind of a fan of that line, and then they come out with this rise of the Ninja Turtles, and people just aren't digging the look of these Ninja Turtle toys. But you know, and this one probably has same thing, like a $12.99, $14.99, $19.99 retail price tag on it, and that is just way too much. You know, for a toy like this, just way too much, man. But at $4.99 at Goodwill, that I can get behind. So, you know, I'll crack that open, see if that toy's worth throwing in the Ninja Turtle collection there. All right. So that's it. That was my thrift store hunt yesterday. Guys, it's Friday, and it's actually a Force Friday, so a lot of people were toy hunting Star Wars toys. A lot of my friends here in Bakersfield, I was kind of, you know, watching their social media feeds and seeing what they were experiencing. Not a whole lot I was interested in. They were looking for, you know, those first edition Mandalorian figures and such. You know, and then I think there were some pop figures that came out people were looking for. You know, if there's anything I want in that line, I'll pick it up on the aftermarket. I'm not trying to pick up a bunch and scalp them, even though we have that problem here in this town with some people. But, you know, it's Force Friday, but that's not really what I was going to be hunting today. I just wanted to hit up thrift stores before I head into work, and I'm excited about tomorrow, because tomorrow's Saturday. It's yard sale day. So hopefully I'm coming at you tomorrow afternoon with a new video about the cool stuff I picked up from the yard sales. So fingers crossed, guys. I want a big action figure day. I want a big action figure day tomorrow. I'm feeling it. You know, the weather's nice. I think some people are really going to be trying to clear out their garages, getting ready for Halloween, getting ready for the upcoming Christmas season. I'm expecting a big week tomorrow, so fingers crossed, guys. Lots of action figures, lots of collectibles. Let's see what we can hunt out there. Thanks for joining me. This has been Lazy Burrow. I will come at you every time I come with new purchases. See ya.